Hi, Veronica.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you, Trish. This is Chloe. Hello,
Hi,
I'm back again.
Chloe.
Hi.
Pleasure. I'm so happy you're here joining us.
Yes, me too.
Okay. Um, well, I will go back and find my notes because I'm juggling two screens here. It's always fun. Okay. I know Mel's going to be joining us, but on mute because she's kind of multitasking, and um, I'm doing it outdoors today.
Nice. I love being outside. It's my
Yeah,
favorite.
it is.
I know, Patty. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, it's just after one. I'm gonna get started just so we can make the best use of our all of our time here to and people can catch the recording for those that may have maybe missed the beginning. So what we're talking about the month of February is flow, blood, and lymph. And I'll just the blood is a vital fluid that carries oxygen and nutrients to the cells. It removes waste products from the cells and plays a critical role regulating body temp and pH in the body. Often we talk about pH, and it's really the blood pH that we're concerned about versus the pH of the digestive system. Sometimes those two get interchangeable and confused, and we do want a very acidic digestive system, and we want a very neutral blood pH. And also blood and lymph play a role in fluid balance. So we talked about resources, things that we can do to encourage blood flow and lymphatic flow. Um, a side note, I don't know if I mentioned last week, was that we have, I think it's like 3 times more lymph fluid, lymph in our system, the fluid in between our cells and that sewer system of the body that collects waste and also delivers nutrients. But it collects the waste importantly and takes it out through our detox pathways. So that's through elimination pathways of poop and pee, through sweating, breath, respiration. When we fog up the mirror, uh, that we're respiring excess waste through the lungs is a huge detox pathway. Someone once, I'm like, really? And I didn't really think about it until someone put it in this context for me before, which was, have you ever smelled like the next day, like you walk by someone and you're like, whoa, they smell like a brewery or or beer or vodka, and you're just like, oh, you could smell it coming out of their pores or coming out of their breath. And that's definitely a detox pathway. We've all been there before, right?
Thank you. Gracias. Yes.
Yeah. So, our breath is a major detox pathway, and why I'm holding these wellness calls is because just bringing awareness and taking back our power on how we can really optimize our liver function, our gut function, our cellular function, and when we do want to have fun and indulge for at a party or have a few drinks, that we can really give our body extra support when we need it. Um, and that and the blood and the lymph have a big role in all of this. January, we talked about the gut and the liver, and we're always going to be supporting the gut and the liver all the time. But, just for sake of kind of breaking this up into bite-sized pieces, we're just focusing for the month of February on flow state, circulation, and lymph. So I invite you to just drop into the moment and if you can, just kind of check in with your body and just notice, like, do you feel any flow? Like maybe bring your awareness to your fingertips. Sometimes you can notice a bit of tingling or sometimes you just feel something flowing in the body. Is it life force energy? Like you're not sure what to label it, but maybe it's just some sort of buzzing, perhaps. And then often last week, we also did a little bit of a embodiment where we moved some of the lymph. We talked about the lymphatic system in the brain that cleanses overnight. It cleanses the brain, and then in the morning, we dump. We hopefully we have a healthy elimination in the morning where we go to the bathroom and we release kind of some of the built up waste and toxins that have been building up in the system. So we talked about using our peace fingers. If you haven't had a chance to catch the recording, we took our peace fingers and put them behind and in front of the ear, and we stimulated the vagus nerve. Many of us may have heard of it. It's part of that rest, repair, digest part of our immune system and nervous system. And it branches down like trees. It's like up here and it goes down our system through our lungs, through our gut, and branches into our gut. And so that's that gut brain axis that so what we can do is just gently start stimulating this area. And sometimes it's tender, maybe on one side or the other, it might feel different. And this is starting to wake up that rest, repair, digest part. And then I'd love to like take my thumbs and pointy fingers and like really get into my ears and kind of give myself some self-love in the ears. And sometimes you'll feel tender in here as well. And our ears are just like reflexology maps. This is really improving circulation through the whole body. Our whole blood flows through our ears. Our whole blood volume flows through our ears several times. Um, an hour. And I'll get that stat and bring it back to you. I don't remember what it is, but it's remarkable. And so if you think about our whole blood volume in our body flowing through our ears, and we can, that's why, red light therapy can be really effective over the ears. I have a brain tap, and many of us are familiar with brain tap, but it's a part of a headset that you have light therapy that goes a visor that penetrates through the eyelids, and then also over the ears there's light therapy that's photobiomodulation that's getting to that blood. That's your whole body blood. It's flowing through the ears, some access point. It's thinned close to the surface of your skin so that maybe when we go out and get exposure to that early morning light or sunset, we try to expose our ears as well. And also the mitochondria in our eyes. It's interesting. Um,
Scared.
yeah. So did you feel any tenderness around the ears or perhaps behind
You
the ears?
got goosebumps.
I wasn't tender, but like my whole body just like got like full body chill kind of. I was like, and I'm like, I'm not cold. So I'm like, what?
We got the heat on high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you've activated
yeah,
your vagus.
good. It
So it
was
doesn't,
like, whew.
yeah, and that could just be something that you do right before a mealtime. Like maybe you take 30 seconds to just take a few deep breaths, get centered, practice gratitude for the food on your plate, and stimulate that vagus nerve because that's rest, repair, digest. So you're going to get more out of the food. You're going to calm your nervous system. You had that instant reaction where your body was like, ooh, full body truth bumps, goosebumps,
Uh-huh.
dropping into that state of relaxation. Again, at that branch, like it's imagine like a tree, like the leaves of the branches of the tree, and then the tree trunk goes down your torso, and then the roots of the tree kind of end up in your gut. And
Oh,
that's
wow.
all like hundreds of little endings in there that are communicating that gut brain access, feeling safe. Tell your body, like if you feel overwhelmed or have a moment of, or just had maybe you've had a tough conversation with somebody, you can just maybe return to this kind of quick reset and see how that sits in your body. So the lymphatic system consists of lymphatic vessels. We kind of know we have our major lymphatic nodes in our neck. We have some in our armpits, around our breast tissue, in our inner groin area, behind our kneecap, behind our knees, and then as well as at the ankle, like kind of the Achilles area. So this is just a reminder that we can stimulate these areas to help stimulate lymphatic flow. And so if we feel like we're getting stiff joints, especially in the morning, that's not just part of aging, that's stagnant lymph.
Oh, interesting.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just said that's interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah,
Huh. Cool
yeah.
stuff.
So give yourself some love before you even get out of bed. Like rotating those joints, and maybe just if it's a stiff wrist, if it's from RSI or too much computer time or something, just doing this motion is really a lot to move that lymph and get the blood flowing and allow the body to like eliminate what it's not serving you for waste. Again, good hydration. We've talked a lot about B minerals. My favorite minerals, they're packed with fulvic and humic acids. The B minerals, microboost and electrolyze are two amazing resources that can really get that water into the cells where it's needed. And then the naturally occurring humic and fulvic acids act like Velcro for the waste. It pulls the cellular waste out of the cell into the.
Which one does that?
So there's Beam Minerals, BEAM minerals.com, and they have a kit that's a women's kit, and that's a full size of a micro boost and electrolyze. And then there's also face sprays. There's Happy Lights. I love them because especially where you live in high altitude and dryness, you know, you can spritz your face throughout the day and it's heavenly. Also, if you get cramps in the night, keep it by your bedside table. You can spray it on your calves or toes. It's game changer. It has, you know, the full spectrum minerals that includes magnesium, but it really does instantly help with that kind of stuff. I take a half dose in the morning with a full glass of water, no ice, room temperature, preferably warm actually. And then I take a half dose like an hour before bed. And because we are cleansing the body through the night, the lymph is working hard and the lymphatic system's cleansing the brain. We want to give the body some help so that fulvic and humic acids that's naturally occurring in these full spectrum minerals are going to help like the Velcro, taking the waste out of the cell, and then like street sweepers, sweeping that waste into the lymphatic drainage pathways, your detox pathways for full elimination. It's also a gentle heavy metal cleanser as well, naturally. And you've got to be careful with heavy metals. It's like, you know, our body's innate wisdom hides heavy metals in the body to the best of its ability away from your vital organs. And that's why when we exercise, we do all the things, we work out, and we're still like looking in the mirror and we're like, gosh, you know, that stubborn belly fat or that stubborn, you know, it's often around the waist or maybe sometimes it's around the neck as well. That cortisol, the body's, I always say it's like the body is innate wisdom is always working in your favor. If the liver's overwhelmed, if the gut pathways are blocked up, it's not able to eliminate properly. So what the body will do is put those heavy metals, excess toxins, excess hormones, instead of circulating it in the body constantly, it'll put it into fat storage units. So that's why sometimes when we're doing all the things and eating well, we're like, gosh, why is my body holding on to fat here and there? Well, it's often because the liver's overburdened and the gut pathways are backed up. Is that making sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
So once you support the liver and once you support like castor oil packs at night, doing a monthly gut liver, 1 day gut flush with Zen Cleanse, or maybe it's quarterly, you merely need to do 3 or 4 of those to get to the bottom of it. And then you can do it maintenance, like maybe it's quarterly and maybe it's twice a year. And then, so you can go to beamminerals.com, use discount code Mangold for a discount. If you just buy 1 kit, they do charge like, I want to say the shipping's like $12 because it's really heavy. But if you buy 2 kits, you get free shipping and that'll give you 2 months supply. So that's either split
Nice.
with a friend or get the 2 kits. Use discount code Mangold for a sizable discount. And then with Zen Cleanse, there's a link in the I have a PDF that went out. It's also, you can find it in the Harmonium platform under events. There's a link to a Google Drive, and if I can get it here, I'll pop it in the chat. But it has links to Zen Cleanse as well, and you can use code Elevate for them. They are like a little on the pricier side, but I just want to explain to you what's in there. It's like everything's been fermented for 3 years, plain in with Tibetan sutras 24/7. They're fruits, vegetables, and seaweeds fermented. So that means your body highly bioavailable. It go fermented into enzymes. So enzymes are the catalyst of every activity in your body. And enzymes go in and imagine like little Pac-Man coming through and munching up the things that like the dark sticky spots or the stagnation in the body, optimizing function. It goes through the body in a systemic way so that you get the most out of it. I mean, you can always start with the lymph. The lymph is a 30-day kit. And it's like 4 things throughout the day. And you can do it while you're in a fed state, like eating normally and living your life, and then you can carve out a day or 2, or maybe, 17 hours or 24 hours where you do it. That's just what you're consuming in your fasted state because it keeps you in that state of apoptosis, which means cell death to things that aren't serving you. So like if it's precancerous, infected with bacteria or a virus, or just cells that mitochondria are kind of limping along, and the body can recycle those old proteins and use it as fuel source. So you're optimizing, but you're also in a very nourished state because they're often powders or chewables or liquids that you consume with warm water, and that's how it goes through the body systemically, but also in a targeted way. So with the blood and lymph, you're cleaning I should say that the lymph is also connected with the spleen and the thymus. The thymus is very much, it sits here, and it's, as we age, the dimmer switch starts turning on. And so, and it's a major role in our immune response, and white killer cells and T cells that go through and clean up and anti-cancer, antiviral, antibacterial. And the spleen, our life force energy that creates red blood cells. This also, the Zen Cleanse system for, it's called the Flow Kit, also, which targets the blood and lymph, but also connects, we're all this holistic, connected body, right? So everything is all connected. So it also supports the thymus, the spleen, and the tonsils. And these, especially this time of year, we often, can feel our throat gets constricted with the dryness um and exposed to, cold and flu season. So it's a good way to optimize function at that level. Is this making sense? And does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
Excited to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go to beam.com when we get off. That was my only question.
Beam minerals. Beam minerals.
Yeah. And then the other one is the Zen.
Yeah, I know that.
And I'm gonna find this. I had it. Oh,
Beam minerals.
yeah. Let me just grab this link, and I'm gonna pop it in the chat right now because it'll make it easy for you, because it has it's a little cheat sheet with clickable links to the everything we're talking about.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
I believe that's it. Yeah, can you see Google Drive there?
Well, let me open it.
Yeah, it should have the links. And then also in Harmonium, under the event page and the details, it'll have the links as well to everything.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Everything. Okay, awesome.
How do you go back?
We also talked, do you have any questions?
We're just going back
just trying to find
so we
you.
can see you again. There we go.
Okay, there you are. Okay.
Hi. And Pamela, I saw you sneak in there too. It's good to see you. Again, twice in one day. Yay, I love this. Okay, so the body's blood flow takes minutes to circulate, where our lymph can take a full day to circulate, and it relies on movement. So we can manually stimulate it. One of my favorite things to do is just stand up, and you're not even really leaving the ground with your whole foot, but you're just kind of if this was my foot and this is the ground, you're just picking up your heel and kind of going down. This is great for bone density and just subtle stimulation of our lymphatic system. You can also, one of my favorite little things, but it's not convenient when you're traveling, is a mini trampoline. I got one on Amazon, and just kind of doing small jumps, put on your favorite song and jump for your whole song, and then make a commitment to do that for a day, for a week, and then maybe add a second song, and like just building that up. And I can't tell you my stomach, it somehow it engages those closer muscles to your organs, maybe because of, you're just supporting everything in that gentle movement. It's not like you're harshly bouncing. You could just barely be leaving the tramp, or not even at all, but it's very low impact on the joints. And I have to say that I just noticed my stomach muscles were really toned, and I didn't have to do any crunches. And my thighs and, that skin above our kneecaps, that, I don't know about you, but for me, like, it's hard to tone. And that really, I notice a big difference when I'm more consistent on my trampoline time.
Yes.
And again, this is moving the lymph. So yeah. So I just to mention about the Zen Cleanse, the 30-day flow kit. So there's natural enzymes in here. There are fruits, vegetables, and seaweeds and mushrooms that have been fermented for 3 years, and Tibetan sutras playing 24/7. They're just so high vibrational and amazing. I just can't speak highly enough of the whole Zen Cleanse system. It's called cleanse, but in my world of cleanse and detox, those two words can really be triggering and/or get a bad rap, because I think they're done wrong more often than not. And when I go back to the body's intelligence, the body doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but it's doing the best it can to survive with what it's given in the environment that it lives in, our lifestyle, and our genetics. But the cool thing about genetics is that only 7% are fixed, 93% are up to us. So whether we hit the genetic lottery or not from our mom and dad, we have so much control. So that's to say, if you hit the genetic lottery, you can't be complacent about your health, because we've never lived in more of a toxic soup. And unfortunately, the responsibility is onto us. We can't trust that they've made the best decisions to how they're, delivering our food system, to what they're putting in our water. And water's not just what we're drinking, it's what we're showering in. And our skin is our biggest organ. So we put all those chemicals in our shower water, and then we turn on the hot water, and we're in this steam. So a lot of the vapors that we're breathing is going into our lungs, and it's coming into our skin. Our pores are open in a hot shower, and we're getting all this. So if you can invest in a small investment that can have a big return on your health, is a simple shower head filter. And you can put those on most standard shower heads, and you can find them on Amazon. You could read the reviews for yourself and pick one that resonates with you. And that can be a really big way to limit the toxic load. And then ZenClean comes in to help the body function, help open up the detox pathways, and get the accumulated toxin and the constant unavoidable exposure that we get daily just out through the detox pathways. So it's not about living in a bubble or being fearful, but it's about being smart and mindful about low-hanging fruit in ways that we can take our sovereignty back, take our power back, and live a more resilient life and a more vibrant life, and not chalk up the things that have been told that it's normal. So like it's been accepted that 60% of Americans by the time they're in their 40s have one or more chronic medication that they're on, because and most of it's lifestyle related. But we did live in a culture where a pill for an ill is a convenient go-to. But we understand now, that we're starting to understand that nothing comes at a cost. Nothing's free, right? There's always a cost. So whether we're even if we're taking um digestive enzymes I talked about on the last call, if you've got bloating and acid reflux, it's often because you've got low stomach acid. So like, don't go and take those PPIs or those over-the-counter antacids. That's the opposite of what you should be doing. And most doctors think, acid reflux is too much acid, but it's usually a not enough. And to measure this, you can test yourself by having like a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in water, maybe 40 minutes before you have your meal. And then notice, do you have less bloating? Do you have less heartburn? Do you have less acid reflux? This is a short-term solution. You do this for 2 weeks before every meal, and note every day what you're feeling. And after 2 weeks, stop taking the apple cider vinegar, because this is about helping your body produce its own stomach acid. You don't want it to rely on other things, because it'll stop doing it. And that's how I feel almost about hormone replacement therapy as well. It's like sometimes we need a little bit to get through the rapids if we're having a struggle with, like, whether it's infertility or going through perimenopause and you can't sleep, you can't function, you're an angry person, you can't think straight, you can't function in life. Yes, you need something, or maybe it's mental wellness, maybe, whatever it is in an acute moment. And I'm not anti-medicine, but what I am saying is that the point of all these calls is that I want you to understand the whispers that our body is telling you. It's like, it happens in your 20s and 30s. And then by the time you're 40 and 50, you have a tipping point, whether it's a career change, maybe a major breakup, a loss of a loved one, a parent, some sort of sudden trauma, lifestyle change, move, that can really be the tipping point, that the accumulated stress, emotional stress that you've kind of swept under the carpet, or you've kind of listened to those digestive issues, but you've always relied on the Tums, or you take Motrin every month for the time of the month or something. It all kind of adds up, and we all have different sized toxic buckets. And so when we get a trigger, whether it's like a job loss, change, relationship change, or caring for aging parents, and we're loading onto our bandwidth of resilience, and as that accumulation is being in the tissues, in our organ systems, emotionally, mentally, and physically, we can have all of a sudden a health crisis. Does it sound familiar or relatable?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
so what I'm trying to say is that once we understand how to take care of ourselves and be proactive and preventative and lessen the toxic load, and just be aware of like where the big major hitters are coming from, the air, the water, and the food system, then we can be more proactive in not being fearful, but being proactive and just being and lessening the toxic burden. And then taking like a week, maybe twice a month, to do the 7-day rainbow kit from Zen Cleanse that includes the gut and the lymph, and to give our body a break from chronically digesting food all the time. So maybe leaning into those 17-hour fasts and a 24-hour fast, but knowing when to do that with our own hormonal rhythms. Men can do it anytime. Women need to fluctuate because of our natural hormonal rhythms. So 10 days before our period, we don't lean into a longer fast than 13 hours, but there are times where we can lean into longer fasts. And then there are times when we pick up the heavy weights, and there are times when we need to be more nurturing and go for the walk and go for the gentle yoga. So that's the entire conversation that I want to have with you. And there's a lot. I was going to say something about kind of what's been going on these days in with some of the health gurus out there that that are now getting exposed in our in the Epstein files, and I don't really like to go down that rabbit hole, but we
Yeah.
talk, some people, we look up to these people, and now we're like, gosh, are they really aligned with our values, and who are these people really? So this is all about not looking to me to be your health guru, but about empowering you to understand what rhythm in life you're at and to understand what tools in your toolbox you have to optimize and thrive and to get through the rapids when life throws a curveball and to just stand on top of the mountain and own it when you got it, straighten your crown, like that's where I'm at with everything. So
Thanks.
does that make sense?
Love it. Yeah, that was great.
Okay.
Loved it. Yes.
So I'm really enjoying the feedback because sometimes I just feel like I'm talking to myself. So
No, it's
keep the
really good.
questions.
Yeah, I have a ton of notes. I'm gonna do some research on these. I wanted to get these minerals and look at these cleanse options, like for sure, because we're both very proactive, like we want to
Good.
do things.
And I'm gonna try the apple
Proactively.
cider vinegar.
Yeah.
With water, you said half and half?
No, it's 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar with a large glass of water. You don't
Oh,
need a
oh,
lot.
oh,
Yeah,
oh,
just a little bit. I was like, oh my God,
Okay,
that's a
good.
lot.
No, do
Thank
not
you
do
for
that. And
one teaspoon. Okay,
and
thank
last
you.
time Mel said she had apple cider vinegar with cayenne pepper. Just know that the cayenne can be a little irritating, possibly if you have a sensitive GI system. That does
Mhm.
help with the immune system, with the metabolism, like pepper does.
Oh,
But for
I
this
put cayenne pepper on everything, my
good.
soups, my
Yeah,
salads.
so good. It's great
Yeah.
for blood thinning. What's her name? She's Australian, but she moved to Denver. She's everywhere. I can't think of her name right now.
Australian moved to Denver.
But she's an older lady. She's got gray hair. She's awesome. She talks anyway, she's in my feed all the time.
Oh,
You know who I'm talking-
Barbara. Love
Barbara
Barbara.
O'Neill.
Barbara. Love Barbara. Yes.
Barbara. So she always says she travels with cayenne pepper because if someone's having a heart
So do
attack, she's like,
I.
it's
I
more
do
What?
too.
effective than
Yeah.
having
So
the
do
baby
I.
aspirin. So
Wow.
Mother Nature, isn't that
Because if
amazing?
you're having a heart attack or a stroke, which I've had, look, I carry cayenne powder no matter where I go to in my,
You're amazing. I love it.
well, because that's, I could save a life on my own.
There you go. So I love, love, love. Yeah. So these are the types of
Good to
things we
know.
need to lean
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
when we have on hand. So today there was I got so excited about Barbara that I'm like, where was I going? Okay. Oh, Soleil. That's what I wanted to talk about too. Has
Oh,
anyone heard of Soleil?
Soleil. No.
Soleil, well, the sun sounds like the sun. It is a sun. I think that's sun in a different language, Spanish maybe.
Oh, so
Uh,
that is different.
Folate or folate?
Sole.
Oh, solate.
Oh,
Sole, Soleil,
Oh, soleil. Oh,
or
okay.
Oh,
soul
hi
with
there.
a
Welcome.
yeah. So, okay,
I
so
think there's someone with a Russian.
okay, okay. So Soleil is So we talked about using beam minerals and also Celtic salt and Himalayan salt, and so Soleil is a very concentrated form of salt water. So when you get a filtered glass of water and or a canister that you can put water in, not metal, and you put rock salt or Celtic salt in the bottom and you fill it with water and you come back to it in 24 hours, you might see that all the salt has dissolved in that water. And it's not quite fully saturated yet because it's dissolved every bit of salt in there. So you could put like a quarter cup of salt, maybe like Celtic sea salt or Baja Gold into a large glass of water. Stir it up, leave it for 24 hours, come back to it. If there's no salt in the bottom, add more salt. You want to have a little bit of salt in the bottom because that means the water has fully saturated the amount of salt that it can carry, and there's some left over in the bottom of the glass. This is a Soleil solution, and this means you can take a teaspoon and don't put metal in there because it does something to denature the salt crystals. But if you have a wooden spoon or something, or plastic, if worst case scenario, you can use something like a wooden spoon and put a little bit in a tall glass of water. Now you've got a version of Soleil water to consume in the morning, and that's fully saturated, full spectrum minerals. So it's when you get your B minerals, it's fully saturated, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you decide that you're going to wait on the B minerals or whatever, and you've got Himalayan salt or Celtic salt at home or Baja Gold, this is what you can make out of that. But your B minerals is already done for you in nature as nature intended. A cool factor is that the ratio of the full spectrum minerals in the B minerals is very similar to the pH, sorry, to the ratio of the minerals in your blood. So your body recognizes it. And isn't it beautiful that our ocean water is also very similar to the ratios of what you find in the beam minerals and amniotic fluid that we've developed in as a fetus. And then we are saltwater beings. Like our tears are salty, our sweat is salty. So we need to replenish the salt. The minerals really have a huge role in getting hydration into the cells, in firing our nervous system, and so much more. Is this making sense?
Yes.
That's why I put such an emphasis on minerals. We sodium gets a bad rap, and sodium is poor. If anything has a label on it and you're eating packaged food, just know that that's the sodium, that's the problem. And a lot of these electrolyte powders like LMT and um, a few others that I'm not hydration sticks and what those IV hydration IVs, sachets. They're man-made. They don't have the full spectrum, and it's usually just potassium and sodium, and that's not what you need. And sugar is often and stevia are ingredients in there too, and you don't want that. I mean, that's rubbish. It's just absolutely garbage, and I just really wish those would be taken off the market. But unfortunately, again, the onus is on us to see what's really healthy and what's not. So go back to nature, go back to the ones that have the ratio that as it occurs in nature, and they're not man-made. It's the beam minerals are derived from old fossilized animal plant products in our deep in our soil. So they're very clean, very as nature intended. The body recognizes it, and that's why it's highly bioavailable and does the job. So when you're drinking mineral rich water and you're drinking coherent water, we talked about structured water last call. That's the anti-aging. That's the support that your nervous system needs, your cells need. It shows up on your skin. When you pee, you shouldn't be peeing clear. That means the water's going through you, and usually it's leaching the minerals out of you, not getting the minerals into your system. So you need straw-colored pee. That's a good indication of hydration, unless you're taking like your B, if you're on a multivitamin like B vitamins or something, then your pee might be bright yellow. That's just, you're peeing out the excess. So, but other than that, okay. These are good indications. We talked about poop last week too. So I encourage you to go back and watch the replay because I was touching on sometimes when we look at our blood work and get our labs done, it's not always a great indication of our health and well-being because it's just what's circulating in the blood. What's circulating in the blood doesn't mean what's getting into the cells, and that's where it matters. What else did I want to talk about today? So
Trish, I had a question about the water. Because I heard that sometimes, we think we need to drink a lot more than what we actually need to drink. And, and we've been told that the urine being clear and whatever is the desired state. So what is the happy medium with all of that? I mean,
well, a few things. So we need to be drinking for proper hydration. It shows up on our skin.
mhm,
Is our skin dry? Does it look like a desert floor sometimes? There's that pinch test but on your hand if you can pull it up, and how quickly does your hand spring back to its normal
mhm,
shape. If sometimes people peak, like it peaks there and it sits there for a while, and that's not just lack of collagen, that's lack of hydration. We
mhm,
should be consuming our hydration between meals, not at meals all the time, because we don't want to dilute our digestive enzymes, um, and we and dilute the power of digestion, breaking down food with the diluting the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So to answer your question, depends on what environment you live in. Are you sweating? Is it summertime? Is it winter? Are you, if you're drinking water all day and you're constantly running to the loo, that's probably too much water.
mhm,
And your pee's clear. That's too much water. But make sure your water is if you can structure it. You can even put fresh lemon or lime in it to help
mhm,
with
mhm,
that. You can leave it out in the sun to get structured by the sun. You can put some crystals in a canister. I love analemma. They're in the link to the Google Doc. There's also a link to analemma. They have a good sale going on right now. I think it's 25% off, but this structures your water and it stays structured. They've studied up to 7 years post structuring it. So you structure it at room temperature and then you can cook with it. It's still structured. You can do a lot with it. So boiling it doesn't denature the structuredness of it. People can get whole house units and they can shower in it. So some of the benefits of structured analemma water, it's improved microbiome diversity. And like I said, microbiome is your communication system. It's your immune system. It's your happy, feel good neurotransmitters. It helps break down food into usable forms. It helps break down excess hormones. There's 10 times more microbiome in your body than there are human cells, and we have to address our microbiome if we want to learn how to inform and optimize our health. To come soon is something called Shifa that I've recently aligned with, and it's going to be available soon. And I'm really excited to give you more details about that soon. In a minute, I might have to switch to my phone because my computer battery is dying, but if I do, I'm going to try to switch now before I totally get disconnected. What else was I going to say? Okay, so did that answer your question? So it depends
Yes. Yeah,
if you're doing
absolutely.
hot yoga
Absolutely.
and going into the infrared sauna, if you're sweating,
Mhm.
replenish and take some minerals. Like I said, our tears are, if you've been crying, what detox pathways have been open. So if you're sweating, if you're breathing heavy, if you're and you'll need different water requirements on
Okay.
those days. So check in with your body. And often we confuse hunger with thirst. Are you
Mhm.
hungry or are you thirsty? And
Mhm.
more often than not, if we're just drinking, dead water, not, water that's just, even if it's from a, filtered, and not remineralized, it's not getting into our cells. So look at the color of your pee, and notice even the quality of your elimination with poop. Is it, you want snakes in the bowl, you want it smooth, you don't want cracks in it, you don't want rabbit pellets. Those are all indications that you're dehydrated.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
Uh,
That's helpful.
sure. And any other questions at the moment? Okay, I'm just trying to, I'm going to go to my phone and turn this on if I get disconnected with you guys.
I just see that again.
Um, okay, so we have about 25 minutes left. So what I wanted to do was a little bit of embodiment with our lymph. So I'm going to ask you, so we started with our peace fingers a second ago, but first I'm going to ask you to take your ring finger and your middle finger, and like you're testing the ripeness of like a tomato, but you don't want to bruise it, or an avocado. If you lean forward and you get just above your clavicle bones, so find your clavicle bones, and then between your neck and clavicle, above your clavicle bones, you'll feel like a little like soft area, right? Do we feel that? Now, just with those fingers gently, you can just pump, and it's almost like you're making this action, almost like a U or a hook. Does that make sense? Okay, very gently, and you're just like 36 times is the magic number in Chinese medicine. So you can pump that 36 times. This is your lymph termini. It's like opening up the gateway. So say you've done that 36 times. Take some deep belly breaths. So some of while we're counting to 36, I'm going to tell you. So we're going to start here in our clavicle. Then we're going to go underneath our, actually we're going to do our neck here. So you can take your peace fingers and go in front of the ear and behind the ear. This is the top of that vagus nerve that branches down to the gut. This is activating our rest, repair, digest. So maybe uncross your legs, make sure your feet are flat on the ground. So when we're doing lymphatic, we don't want to try to, block up any flow state. And then I like to pull my ears, like using my thumbs and my fingers here. So I'm kind of like massaging my ears, pulling them out. And then even take my fingers and kind of go in my nooks and crannies of my ear and find some tender spots. This is reflexology. You're stimulating different organ systems and detox pathways. And now bring your fingers down your neck. And you can do this first thing in the morning before you get out of bed. Sometimes you feel that lymphatic system drain out of the head, literally. You can just feel it, and you might feel a trickle down the back of your throat. And then you can go like sinuses, over the cheekbones, into the hairline, over the brow bones, into the hairline, and then down the termini. And just tell yourself, I'm releasing whatever's not serving me. I'm optimizing my flow state. We're not just talking about physical, we're talking about emotional, mental. And now cross your hands over and get into your armpits. And then, like I said, do you have a pit or a puff? We talked about this last call. Do you have a natural concave in your pit? It's called an armpit, not an arm puff. And so if we have an arm puff, that means we've got some stagnant lymph going on. So if it puffs out when you raise your arm, you need to focus on doing this. So get in there with your fingertips, find a tender, and again, not hard, it's just very gentle, and find
A
is it
pit or a pump.
Do you have a pit or a
I think you have a bit.
good girlfriends tell you the truth. Do you have a pit or a puff?
Yeah. There's concave.
Nice. So we find in there, and we might find an area that's a little tender, maybe spend a little extra love in there. And now, as women, we need to go around the breasts and we need to move this lymph around our boobies. So go get in there. I'm getting recorded. I'm on screen here, so I'm gonna wrap my lymph. And then use your the same motion, like up and down, like almost like a hook. Lean forward, get underneath. So follow your sternum, and to the tip of that sternum, that xiphoid process, underneath there, it can be really tender. And kind of lean forward. You'll feel underneath those floating ribs as you go down towards either side of follow the seam of your rib cage. That's your lymph in there, and that could be very tender. And your diaphragm can get stuck, and our diaphragm is like this massive balloon.
Just below your boobs and right in the middle.
Oh, in the middle. Oh, I was in there. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, and get into those underneath those ribs and kind of use this motion as you lean forward slightly. You get under there and unstick that diaphragm and unstick that lymph flow. And then can you feel it? Is it tender? I know mine can be.
In the middle.
And then we can lean to one side and separate those spaces between the ribs, those intercostals. That's, we don't breathe enough laterally and into our back to move this lymph. Breath is such a great way to move lymph. We could just sit here and do breath of fire when we're driving or when we're doing something mundane and boring. Bring in your breath of fire. We know what the breath of fire is. You're kind of allowing that, forcing the out breath, and the in breath comes naturally, and imagine your belly button going back to your spine every time as you go out. That's the breath of fire. And if you're ever cold or wanting to boost circulation, that's an amazing way to quickly get warm or just release some energy, stuck energy. If you're feeling brain fog or sleepy, that'll wake you up. Okay. So did we all kind of feel a little tenderness, give some self-love? So that's along the diaphragm, and then we can always go clockwise on the belly. And then also, and that breath of fire also stimulates the vagus nerve. And then also use your fingers in that inner groin area, top of the thigh where your crease is by the groin. You'll feel the lymph nodes, right? Have we all felt our lymph nodes in that area? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So go ahead and give some love there. These are major terminal.
You can feel them. They're like right in the crease. Like
where's mine?
They'll be like in here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. And then behind the kneecaps, we have some lymph.
A lot of back there.
Yeah.
You feel like a little ball or something.
You can just, yeah, like a little teeny tiny.
Yeah, and so you're kind of using that hook motion going upwards.
Okay.
And then also at the Achilles area. So both ankles, Achilles area. Try not to cross your legs, but get down there and give it some love. And you can even do legs up the wall.
Wow, yeah, releasing some exhaustion.
I'm like yawning. I'm like, oh, that's so good.
That's so good. So yawning is another indication that you've activated your vagus nerve.
Good.
Wow, cool.
So you're really, really getting.
And where's my Achilles?
Your Achilles is behind the ankle.
Oh my God, I knew that. Sorry. I was somewhere completely different. I'm embarrassed to tell you guys.
Okay.
I know my Achilles. Silly me.
Yeah, so just massage that area as well. And then you can do this in the morning, and it takes, minutes. And maybe you flip your legs around and you put your legs up your head, the head of your bed, and then you can get to all of this before you even get out of bed. And there's your habit stack. You open your eyes and you're just thinking, I'm going to go with the flow today, and my flow state is going to be amazing. I'm not going to hit any red lights. I'm going to, have all the good shit going to happen. And you're going to eliminate the shit too. So you're going to have a really nice elimination. Because like I explained on the last call, and I don't think you guys were on it, but how we do our stomach massage. And me, I'm a huge fan of castor oil packs. And so you put a little bit in your belly button, you put a little bit, a smiley face underneath your belly button, and you put some over your right low rib cage. That's your liver, gut, gallbladder right there. You need to give some love to there. And then you just do clock.
I think she left for a while.
Oh, I think her battery died.
Yeah.
Hi, Pamela. Let me see you.
Nice to see you, Veronica.
Nice to see you. That's a beautiful home. Where are you?
I'm at Delphine's. In the
Oh,
desert. Yeah, right.
oh,
I have to
wow.
escape LA whenever I can. So I have
Oh,
to-
that's awesome.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
All right,
I'm, wa-
and you,
I'm watering plants. I'm doing
oh,
important stuff,
Nice.
awesome, beautiful. I'm like, that's a beautiful home. Where are you? She's at Delphine's. This is Delphine's, our friend Pamela. This is Chloe.
Hey, oh, hey, Chloe. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah. So is her son there too? One of her sons there?
Julian went to LA for the weekend, so he's not
Oh,
back.
good. Oh,
Yeah.
good. So you're on your own. That's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
nice.
So it was nice to
And
get the
is it
red
really
light
warm?
in, the sweat. I call it the sweat tent.
Oh, the sweat tent and the
I'm
red
like,
light
Julian,
bed.
what's your ETA? Because I don't want
Oh, that's so funny. And then the pool. You guys got the pool there. I love that.
situation. It's a situation.
I
So
love it. I love it. I
Oh,
love it. I love
nice.
that. I love catching up. But we do have 15 more minutes left, so I just want to wrap this up real quick. And I love that you've got the sandbox there, Pamela. So don't forget to take advantage of that.
oh, I'm doing it every
You could
morning.
go and do you could do your lymph stimulation out on the sandbox.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
amazing.
Jumping.
I love it. Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was just explaining the gut massage. If anyone has issues going to the bathroom, and sometimes we rely on caffeine to do that, and that's an indication that we do need that's a blocked pathway. So we shouldn't have to rely on caffeine to get things moving in the morning. So if that's something for you, we can do this abdominal massage with the castor oil, and it really does help eliminate. And I explained something, and I don't know, maybe from my wrist here to my elbow. Can you see that? That space, that should be what a full complete elimination looks like in the morning for number two. So a snake in the bowl, we want it, soft coming out and not a strained or and that should at least be happening once a day, maybe not that much in volume, but at least you're eliminating frequently, like around the morning time. Um, so was there any questions at this moment from what we've covered so far?
What was the Soleil? I missed that part.
Yeah, so the Soleil is fully saturated mineral rich water. So
Okay.
the B minerals are fully saturated. The point of being fully saturated is that it's ready for your body to absorb. It gets in right away. You're well hydrated. The if you don't have access to B minerals, you might have, Celtic salt at home, or I always like to mix it up too. You don't get the humic and fulvic acids that B minerals does, but you can make your own Soleil by putting in, say you have a jar of quality filtered water, and then you put, say, a quarter cup of Celtic salt in there, and you come back to it, you stir it up, you come back to it in 24 hours. If there's no salt in the bottom, it's been absorbed and suspended in that solution of water. But to have full Soleil, you want to keep adding salt until there's more salt in the bottom, left over in the bottom after it's fully saturated as much as it can. And that means it can't take up any more of that salt, but just leave the salt in the bottoms. But from there, we use a wooden spoon to take like a teaspoon of that water into a large glass of water, and that's your Soleil water for drinking.
Ah, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So your body doesn't really have to work to break down that salt and get it into where it needs to go.
Excellent.
And then Pamela asked an amazing question earlier. How do you know if you're drinking enough water? Sometimes in our culture, we drink a lot around mealtime, or we're constantly drinking, and we're running to the toilet a million times a day and we're peeing clear. That might be an indication of too much water. We want our pee to be like a straw color, and that means it's been getting into the cells and out and carrying the waste out. And we want to drink in between meal times as much as possible. And at meal times, you can still have something to drink. Like you might want to have a glass of wine. I think food and wine pair nicely together if you're drinking. But if, as far as other beverages, try to stay away from iced beverages, like really cold beverages puts out digestive fire. And then also too much liquid at mealtime can dilute the acids in our stomach, as well as the enzymes in our stomach that help break down our food. So then that can interrupt digestion, energy. It can make us feel really tired after a meal. It can make us feel bloated and heavy after a meal. If protein seems to just sit with you like sits like a brick. And transit time is another indication of how well our digestion's working, and maybe even hydration as well. When we look at our elimination, we want it smooth, not cracks or like rabbit pellets. That's an indication of dehydration. Um, and if we're puffy in the ankles, the face, that especially in the morning, that could be stagnant lymph. And then blood flow. If our digits are cold, if we're not getting enough blood flow, if we look pale, and we're not getting a nice flush of color, if we're, with little activity, then that means there could be some blood stagnation as well. So these are just indications of, but we should all be taking steps to move our lymph and blood, because like I think I mentioned that our lymph, there's like 3 times more lymph fluid than there is blood, and our lymph doesn't have a pump like our heart pumps our blood. So it relies on movement. So that manual movement that we learned how to do today, as well as exercise, walking, and just bouncing or slightly jumping on the spot, is very good for bone density, blood flow, and lymphatic movement.
Trish, I had a question about the calves and everything. I heard that your calves are your second heart or something like that. So as far as the lymph and pumping blood, I mean, is that the same thing? Same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've heard that as well. And you can just do calf raises, and I think that that can really help with moving lymph and blood, and that's easy. And that
Mhm.
action of just jumping on the spot. When I say, if this is the ground and this is your foot, this is your heel raising, even if it's
Yeah.
not raised, if you're not lifting up all the way off the ground, you're just simply
Mhm.
doing body weight. You're raising up and maybe on your tippy toes as far as you can go. You're activating those calf muscles,
Mhm.
and then you
Yeah.
just drop down. Or you can like mix it up a little bit and then slowly drop down. Resist that that gravity, and you're strengthening. You're doing amazing things to strengthen.
Mhm. Very good. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then of course, like inversions, like leg up the wall, that if you're doing that, if you're starting to, massage behind in your groin, you can kick your legs up the wall. And we all know how to do that, where you're laying on the ground and then your legs are up on the wall. And you can simulate your behind the knees. You can access that, and you're behind the ankles that way as well. You maybe do figure 4 with your legs, and you can access the ankle and behind the knee and switch the other side. And that could be a nice way to have it stack and embody these tips for an evening wind down before bed to support a good night's rest.
God, Trish, you're a wealth of information. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, and then to invigorate in the morning, we could do something more lively, like, jumping on the spot might be something that we want to try. So maybe that's your challenge this week until we meet not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. Maybe you try a PM routine that feels good to you, and an AM routine, and then come back and let's talk about it. What did you notice? Did you notice better elimination? Did your skin look more hydrated? Are your eyes clearer? Brain fog? How's your mental clarity? Did elimination seem to come easier? Maybe even a lot of people have blocked sweat pathways. Have you ever heard of that? That's common too. Like people are like, oh, I work out and I don't even sweat. That's a
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
And don't forget breath. Breath is like breath of fire, or just anything that's going to expand those rib cages in different patterns. Like
Mhm.
too often, like catch yourself, like
Mhm.
even in a moment of stillness, like, am I just shallow breathing? Like right here, that's it. Like really use that diaphragm and breathe into those low ribs in the back, expand in all directions.
Okay. I've noticed the last, I don't know, couple of weeks, the under my eyes has been a little bit puffier in the morning than normal. And I'm like, did I eat salt, or was it wine? I mean, and none of those things are, I could associate it to. So what's,
Interesting.
yeah.
Sometimes so next month we're going into lungs, and then we'll go into kidneys the following month. And kidneys control fluid as well, blood
Mhm.
fluid, hydration fluid, and balances in the body. And sometimes, if we're clenching our mouth or sleeping weird with a different pillow, it could be a combination of things. But go ahead and do your these fingers behind the ears in the morning, and get there and move the fluid underneath the cheekbones and over the brows, and drain that lymphatic system that's accumulated overnight. Open up those termini first, right? And then do all that work. It might take you all of 40 seconds, but maybe you'll notice the puffiness going down a little bit. And
Thank you.
then emotionally, yeah, check in with your kidneys. Are you holding on to conscious or subconscious fear, worry, stuff like that? The emotions sit in the body as well.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Let me know how it goes. Yeah. I notice sometimes like my rings
Yeah.
are harder to take off or something, and it's could be sodium and that's snuck in there if I had Chinese food or Thai food or something,
Right, right,
certain
right.
things that or just eating out. We're not always in control what's on the plate. It's not about being fearful, but it's just about awareness and seeing how our body's acting. And maybe we need to sweat. Maybe we need to open up those detox pathways better. How's your elimination? Um, how's your
Excellent
hydration?
for asking.
Sorry.
I said, excellent. Thank you for asking. How's yours?
Yeah, good. I'm so happy. Yeah, it's wonderful. I love to.
Veronica, you want to chime in?
Mine's good too. I have good hydration. And,
Oh, good.
but occasionally, like you said, like a ring will feel tight in the morning, but that's
Yeah.
probably too much sodium.
Yeah, it could be. And then also stagnant lymph, like the way we slept. Maybe we, we're
True.
kinked our arm under our head weird, or who knows. So
Yeah.
it's like the waking up the body. So like tapping in the morning is a great way to like get the blood flowing, and like tapping over our abdomen and tapping in all those, even on our head. I don't know about you, but I carry so much tension in my scalp. And those weird things that you see at the airport stores
Yeah.
where I love those
The
things.
metal, those are
Yeah.
great. Oh, those are great. You have one of those? Yeah, those are
I
great.
just bought one like 6 months ago or 6 weeks ago, and guy's like, "Why'd you buy that?" And now we both like have head orgasms doing it, and we're like, "Oh my God, it's so
I
good."
love it. Yeah. Yeah. I had one years ago. I'll have to. Yeah, this is a
I have
great
a quick
invention.
question about the lymphatic support drops that I came across them. They're, a combination of certain things. What do you think of those?
I'm not familiar with them.
Okay. It's a
Yeah.
combination of certain, I don't know, minerals or whatever to help your body get, basically just help the
Oh,
whole
hi there.
body.
Welcome.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see
Hi
are they
there.
full spectrum minerals? Are they you know what I mean? Like
I'll send you a
uh
picture of it and
yeah,
or
yeah.
the
Be
type.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Well, it's so good to see you, and I will get this recording now. And if this feels like anyone needs to hear it, please feel free to share it. We're just trying, to build the community, and when we do things together, we have the ripple effect
Mhm.
of creating well-being and sovereignty and taking our power back into how we can support our health and well-being. Um, Next week, we're going to continue down the road of this, and we're going to flow into our lungs in March. So I'm
Beautiful.
kind of mirroring this on the backbone of the Zen Cleanse system because it optimizes the body in the right order in the way that we are kind of toxified. It moves through, and it's great for a whole body system reset. So,
Beauty.
but
Beautiful.
you don't need to have the Zen Cleanse to do it because I'm also teaching everybody kind of tools and understanding body cues, where you need extra support, and then how you can make a difference in just a week. Like you pick up one small habit, whether that's legs up the wall and a little facial massage, and see how that changes what you're seeing in the morning.
Mhm.
This is what it's all about. So,
Great. Thank you so much. Awesome.
so welcome, Pamela, and I look forward to connecting with you more on our other stuff that we are going to be holding each other accountable for.
Awesome.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye.
for joining us. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.